number. Let's see if this man can avoid getting thrown off his game and just keep focused on what he needs to do to get the victory. In the top left side, in the red, it is Probe.
And in the bottom right here in the blue, represented by the team that basically spells Malaysia. It is the Malaysian Protoss Ranger. Hot beat for Ranger, nice.
Heck yeah.
Good melody.
Obviously, we always called it the Mates Clan,
the Mate Clan,
team, the Mate Team, but now we're calling it Team Malaysia. Apparently that's what it's meant to be pronounced
apparently that's
as.
what it stands for, yeah.
Yeah, I saw someone in Twitch chat let us know just the other day, right?
That's right, yes, that's where I saw it as well.
Twitch chat actually taught us something, or someone just made something up and we're repeating it.
I mean, look, there is always a lot of Malaysian fans. I know you guys are out in Twitch chat right now, so shout out to you guys that cheer on Ranger, and they would have shot that dude down so hard if he was fibbing. They would have shot him down so hard.
That is true. That is true.
So I feel like it's not a fake news. It's a real science fact, I think.
Okay, so Ranger's doing a 2-gate expand, but on the low ground, so he can still get a quick Nexus behind it. Whereas Probe's doing a much more standard 1-gate expand, double gas build order. Usually you go Stargate into Oracle from here. I do wonder, will Probe squeeze an Adept out after that Zealot for the scouting? Because the opponent's walled off, I think it's very likely Probe just goes for like maybe a quick Sentry or just Stalkers, because his Adept is not guaranteed to get in there.
Ranger going for the pylon block here on the natural, or Probe continues to scout on through. Neither player really hiding any pylons or anything like that. There's no mind games happening right now. It's just a bit of a block, just trying to slow Probe down whatever he can with the 2 gateway opener here, which is, you know, the only real way to try and sneak back an advantage when your opponent goes for a 1-gate expand.
Indeed, Zealot's chasing after the Probe, as is one of Probe's probes. So Probe with his probe chasing after Ranger's probe, but neither player probing right now. They've both hit the work account that they want to get, and I'll stop it. I'll stop it. I'm sorry.
Probe's probe chasing Ranger as he tries to get his probe to zap Probe's probe, and now Ranger probing. Probe probing as well. Over to you, Pig.
Well, this Probe builds a Nexus on the gold, and that is an ambitious plan from Ranger.
He actually did this exact thing, like against your brother on this map.
With 2-gate or
not the 2-gate, but just
1-gate. But the same thing, just goes straight for the goal. It's a good way to play. I mean, that was obviously against Terran, different situation. The 2-gate makes a lot of sense here. You pile on the pressure, and bam, Probe has walled himself in with a Stargate. He can't punish this. It feels like Ranger is going to be playing the right build for the map, and Probe is playing super normie StarCraft, which, the gold base on this map, you cannot ignore it. Other maps like Blackburn, where it's only the 6 mineral patches, you can actually ignore the gold, play a normal build. You're not too far behind. 8 mineral patches, I mean, you're in so much trouble. You've got to do something about this as Probe.
He does at least see it, so he's got the information, but you're right. You know, when you go for a full wall in like this, you can't really leave. You've got your Stargate units that can fly out, of course, but you can't do anything about this faster expand of Ranger, which is a very bold, you know, an ambitious project that could get shut down if Probe had gateway units out on the map. Like if he had 3 or 4 Stalkers, he could probably shoot it down as low hit points, but as it stands, have to rely on the Oracle for map control, maybe a little bit of Probe damage if he can get it.
Double Oracle's still really scary. Probe, though, not committing to it because he's going with a fast blink behind this. He could go DTs as well, because often if you take a gold base, you're trying to cut corners to keep that alive. You can't really afford a lot of tech. So skipping Robo is very common in Ranger's shoes. And Ranger does start blink. Probe's a few seconds ahead, even though he opened the Stargate, of course. And the Oracle going to grab maybe 1 or 2 probes here.
Man gets the 1 and doesn't really want to dance with those Stalkers too long. Only loses shields, of course.
All right, it already looks like it's going to be Probe trying to punish him with a Stalker push, but without a gateway on the map, he's going to have to blink out of his wall or maybe kill his Stargate. I think it's time for him to start breaking his Stargate down, because Probe can't take a 3rd base. I don't think you can phase a Probe out of your wall on this map. Maybe you can. I don't really know how that works. You know how you can like run a Probe up, build a pylon, and squish yourself through the wall?
Okay, I was about to ask, what do you mean by phase?
Yeah, so basically if you put it in the corner and you build a pylon so there's no space left for the Probe to go, it can like shift through buildings and kind of pop it out of the wall, as we see our observer showing us. So I imagine you could probably do it on this map, but I know sometimes it's a little bit tricksy based on the positioning of the wall. I don't actually ever do it myself. You know, some of us don't cheat, so, you know, you gotta Slash too stupid to figure out how to use tricks like that.
I can't figure it out, and therefore it is cheating.
Yep.
The hallucinated Phoenix going across the map here for Rangers. See what's happening in Probeville. Not much. I mean, like you mentioned, that the dream of the third base is only a dream at the moment for Probe, as he's kind of locked down. Shield battery in the main base, not going to let this Oracle do anything as well, as he only got the one Oracle. Looks like it.
So I think this is going to look pretty similar to the Piglet game. Ranger's going to...
Okay.
So okay, this just level. I was about to say it's going to be like the Piglet game. Ranger's just going to have way more stuff, and he's going to A move him. Like, he doesn't need to do anything fancy from here. Probe is going to struggle to get that third up. Now, Ranger taking his gold base, absolutely insane. I don't even know if he's going to need to mine from it, though, before he wins this game.
That's dead.
Ooh, that's rough. Probe is in so much trouble.
Oh, that's Ranger.
Thank you, Fear Dragon. I didn't realize we were getting you today over from the NA region, but thank you for joining us. Can we have Maynard back, please?
Fear Dragon's in my chat a lot, and I'm starting to turn into him slowly over time. I've got like this love of dad jokes now. So we've got a bit of a blink battle on the front here. Big ambitious blink from Probe. He's done the math. He sees he's got one more Stalker, and he's trying to make that a reality here in this win. And he does actually kill quite a bit there. Good trade for Probe.
Yeah, really good fight for him. Definitely important. He still doesn't know about that gold base. I feel like you could, because you can go down to the middle of the map, you will not see that gold base. So you really need to actually head in that direction to notice it's there. I think it's unnecessarily risky from Ranger. He could have just taken his own natural. But as it is, he's still got way more mining. I mean, if we look at that income tab, it's obviously been ahead for Ranger this whole time. It's still going to be ahead right now. Look, 300-400 minerals a minute. It's a big difference. And as he gets probes on the second gold base, he can go 16 gateways off this economy. Like, I'm not even kidding. It's actually disgusting. When this gets fully saturated, 16 gate Zealot, there's no way Probe can keep up with this. Right now, Probe is already down 13 army supply.
And it's only going to get worse as time goes forward with that income, as you mentioned. But a bit of a battle here at the third base, and while Probe's holding that line for now, just the sheer amount of resources that Ranger has, the amount of mineral income he has, he can just print Zealots non-stop.
It's a numbers game. I don't think there's anything Probe can do here. This is just a strategy build order win from Ranger. He played a great build onto the gold base, and he's got way too much stuff. Probe is just massively outnumbered, and this is once again Ranger saying, mate, if you're not going to veto Pride of Altaris, I will take advantage of the gold base. You're trying to use your normal build orders on the ladder where no one plays this map. You're going to get in trouble, mate.
Absolutely. Yeah, Probe's still technically alive, but only technically, as Ranger shows up with more Zealots. And charge lots really are such an annoying thing for Probe to have to deal with right now, as he doesn't even have charge just yet. Upgrades are there, but his Zealots just getting outnumbered.
Yeah.
He is outgunning him. I mean, good control of these Stalkers, and Probe still holding that line. My goodness.
Really efficient. Ranger doesn't need to keep attacking. I mean, Ranger's got to be careful. He shouldn't be attacking into this. He should be warping in more Stalkers, not Zealots as well, but he's out of gas right now. And actually,
he
my
doesn't take
God.
any guesses.
Oh, Ranger, you got to get back to that shield battery and that overcharge, mate. You can't be out here. Oh, bad angle for Ranger as well. That gateway is actually blocking up his position where he wants to be healing. So a little awkward from Ranger. Even with 2 gases, he should be able to make enough Stalkers. The trick is don't lose any of those Stalkers. Only trade your Zealots.
Yeah, send the Zealots out front. Get the Stalkers at the back.
Oh, okay, shield battery does come up for Probe.
He's still keeping the Zealots at the back here.
Ranger's YOLOing way too much. I think he might be getting way over eager. He does force the overcharge and pull back, which is good, but he should not be YOLO blinking like that. He doesn't have the numbers advantage. He's got so much more income, but Probe is out microing him. Ranger needs to just chill and let his numbers grow. Let Probe come to you, mate.
Only goes for a big blink forward again. Every time he does that, the Zealots are kind of stuck behind, but now finally they're getting to the front of the pack.
Oh, this is scary for Probe when his blinker's on cooldown. You can see there's a moment where a lot of the Stalkers do go down. Probe has got the +2 almost finished, but it's not quite there. If Probe can get another battery overcharge, he'll be good. Wow. Nice counter blink for Probe. He gets 3 Stalkers on the retreat.
Very, very good there. I mean, there is a world where Probe holds this with the upgrade advantage, even with that massive income there for Ranger, who's taking another Nexus, by the way.
Dude, there is no way Probe should be able to win this game. If he wins this is some true wizardry. We are getting him that letter to Hogwarts if he wins this game. Ranger, though, is coming in with so many numbers. I think he has overcharge, but he's forgotten about it, Maynard. I think it's off cooldown. There it is.
All right. Oh, man. Well, so what we kind of preordained there is finally coming to pass.
Yeah.
As Probe's overcharge is there, but only to heal a few units. It's a very piecemeal army here for Probe now.
Probe tried to just play better than his opponent. You know, this is very much what the old veterans sometimes do. when they are getting cheesed or tricked out or this sort of thing. But come on, man. Ranger just had way too much money. There is no way you're holding on against 1 gold base. 2 gold bases? That's a foregone conclusion. Probe showing a heroic effort on the defense. Ranger maybe a little over-eager to press the issue, but it didn't matter. The strategy was sound. It's I have the numbers advantage. I have a billion zealots. Just keep going, hammering. I will eventually get that nail through that wall.
Well, I mean, a cool strategy from Ranger. You don't see it every day, and it definitely worked against a player with the caliber of Probe, so that's also made it even more delicious for me as someone that's picked Ranger to win this series. But that is the kind of map that lets you get away with that kind of thing, and I don't think we have any more gold maps remaining, if I'm not mistaken. So, actually, no, we might have the one.
So, yeah, I'm not quite sure. We'll see, of course. I think it's very different taking a gold base on Blackburn, by the way, compared to Pride, right?
Yeah, that's very punishable.
It's much more like 2 Adepts rock up, deny it, Stalkers get behind the mineral line. It's very different, and it's only the 6 mineral patches as well. So we might see that, but you know, it just kind of depends on which way the players go. I doubt Ranger would be doing the same exact sort of strategy, just low ground gateways and stuff. But yeah, Probe there, I think walling himself in with the Stargate turned out to be a very bad play in hindsight.
Well, we're going to take a short break here. When we return, can Probe type the series? We'll find out together after the break. See you then. G'day StarCraft fans and welcome back to the Oceanic Rest of Asia tournament here, the main event for DreamHack Masters for the Valencia Summer Season 2022. I'm main up with me as Pig, and we've been casting for quite a bit here as we've run with one best of 5. We're into the second now with Ranger currently 1-0 up on Probe with a bit of an unorthodox strategy on Pride of Altaris.
Yeah, and Probe looking a little bit too scared. I think on these gold-based maps, aggressive, fast and loose play is the way to go. Ranger showed he knew how to take advantage of it, and he got a nice, easy win there, similar to his group stage match against Piglet, where he crushed through in that one as well. So Ranger really has been getting momentum off this, and I think this is a tournament run. It's kickstarting what has already been fantastic play for him. Players not vetoing Pride of Altaris. I think at this point, you've got to either have a special game plan for that map, or you've got to veto it. But in this best of 5 situation, especially, players don't see it that often, and he's coming in super well prepared. The Malaysian beast, the Protoss monster. Can he overcome this opponent? He already just got his first ever win in a competitive format against his opponent. Let's see if he can win the series. This is Ranger.
Times are a-changing. And in the bottom left here, currently teamless, representing Oceania, the only Oceanian player in the bracket. In the red, he is Probe. And what a representative for our side of the world it could be. You really can't ask for any better.
Yep. He may be allergic to 90% of food products and a bit of a weeb, but he's bloody good at StarCraft.
yeah, a little bit of a nerd. Casually wins card tournaments, Rubik's Cube speedrunner. Not
he's
normally
actually,
stuff you hear in a football locker room.
Alpha nerd. He's an alpha nerd, man.
Yeah, alpha nerd, exactly.
He's the when he comes down to the land, Probe is the big dog. I can assure you of that one, mate.
Yeah, he's whipping people in the locker rooms with wet towels at the lands while everyone's after a hard day of StarCraft.
Yeah, he's got those moves, and I don't think he'll be too upset about the last game. It's a best of 5. It's one map. It's not gonna happen like that again. So I think Probe is going to continue to play safe, solid play. I would not be surprised to see that. Ranger, on the other hand, is ready to YOLO. And I think it's a DT rush. Just the corner there. I mean, he's just, okay, it's just the pylon for now. So never mind. It's just the hidden pylon. Okay, I like that. He could put something there later, but definitely just a nice way to keep Probe guessing. He's already scared from that last game. So, compound it. Keep going, Ranger. Yeah,
just trying to put the fear into Probe. He's got tiger blood and also a tiger shirt. So we can see through the webcam.
Stripey.
Stripes.
Good camouflage. Not always in an urban environment, but in that case, it does help you from getting run over by cars because you're more visible. It's good.
That's right. That's right. It is. Okie dokie. Well, it is. Probe's being very cautious here. He's going to see this pylon and the Probe there. Oh my goodness. It's like, why don't you should just sit there with the Probe and just go, so, what are you going to make?
It was about to be a Stargate because he was waiting for 150 gas, but now that it's been spotted, he should build the Stargate back in his main, and he does, yeah. So he's like, okay, I'll build it over here then. No worries. No worries. Adept's coming out for Probe, so he'd like to get some harassment units behind this. He's got his own defensive Stargate, and he will probably be looking for a Nexus in the near future. Does catch the Probe going into his natural as well. So Ranger's very blind. Doesn't get any information yet.
And Probe's being very vigilant with his Probe, by the way. Keeping an eye on every corner of the map here. Most of it's scouted.
And he's up on workers. So even though his Nexus is a few seconds later, he's built 3 more workers. So this is a much more economic start for Probe. He's kind of just hitting all those basics. 3 probes doesn't sound like a lot. It's very important. If you can have 3 more probes when both your Nexi are finishing, it can give you a big heads up.
All right. Probe finally gets shut down on that side of the map, but as these adepts show up, see what else can get done here. Oracle about to pop for both players. It is a Stargate opener in the end, but of course Ranger forced to make that in his main base like a normie instead of in the corner of the map like a cool guy.
See if these adepts can get in. Oh, bit of a mistake, but shield battery and 2 stalkers, so Probe shouldn't be able to get too many kills, but even just 3 or 4 would be a nice start. Oh, he desynced his attacks. Oh, very unfortunate for Probe, just slightly desyncing those attacks.
Do you know what I love about having Probe just as a viewer and a fan, and just having him on webcam here? He's so emotive. Like,
Yeah, just the other day I was watching, and my Dot was like, she's like, oh, he's such an actor. Like, she's like,
Like,
he was throwing his arms up in the air and like waving his head around and
he's
stuff.
like a Twitch streamer, man. He's got a reaction that's probably sensibly a 4 out of 10. He'll turn it up to a 9, kind of thing. I like it.
Yeah, you can hear Artosis words coming out of him just from his physical reaction.
That's right. Like, oh my god, this is impossible. Turns out it's not impossible.
Stasis? What is that Oracle doing?
Yeah,
oh no!
Dying in a minute if he's not careful. He's getting outgunned here on the front door. Ranger overextending.
It was a classic Ranger move though, right? Ranger does like to just come into your vision and stand there and kind of just wiggle his butt in your face a little bit. Oh no!
Completely naked main base.
Oh, Ranger taking big damage. The double Oracle is destroying. Sentries aren't going to stop that. Sentries could just get killed.
Yeah, the Oracles can kill them. They want to.
Oh my lord. Oh my gosh. That is devastating. And man, just wasn't expecting the second Oracle to come on in there. Was that the first time Probe showed it? No, he saw the Oracle leave the base. So uncharacteristic for Ranger to just, I think he maybe didn't notice the Oracle leave because he was not ready for that.
Yeah, it could be tournament nerves here. Just a really unfortunate game for Ranger. Yeah, that's the kind of mistake you'll never be able to get away with against a player like Probe. I think, obviously game 1, really, really awesome for Ranger. Maybe a little bit of jitters there. His first ever win against Probe. Big moment for him. Yeah. Not often Ranger makes it to the playoffs, so, just a lot of pressure, probably.
And remember, he struggles in PvP. That is his weakest matchup. So it is definitely going to be something where he needs to really tighten things up and maybe not be looking... I mean, I'm kind of torn because I'm like, maybe don't be looking for the big sneaky plays, which of course he was kind of trying to hide the Stargate in that game. I think he was hoping to secretly go up to 2 Oracles and then dive with them from the corner of the map with it not being able to be scouted. But yeah, potentially it might be time to just, go back to a more normal opening, do a 4 Stalker pressure, but just be a Nexus, Interblink behind it. Get to the mid game because this early stage, you can see Probe's playing super duper safe. And you don't want to be playing too dicey against a safe Probe.
Nah, certainly not. And I mean, it doesn't take a replay to remind you of a few seconds ago when this happened. That was
lasers.
That was pretty much the game right there. You can't get away with losing 21 probes at the 5-minute mark.
Nah. Yeah, that was brutal, man. That was basically a speed run for Probe in that game. Just managed to get the 2 Oracles across the map, and Ranger getting a bit ahead of himself. Skipping the second Oracle, sometimes it can be really good, but I think it has to be paired up with you definitely being very safe and responsible on the defense. Sending all your Stalkers across the map there for a bit of a pressure. Ranger was kind of just trying to get a little bit too much done, right? He was just getting over eager. If he leaves those Stalkers at home, it's a completely different game.
Yeah, you're not wrong. Hindsight there for Ranger and hindsight for us, of course, and all you guys watching from home, but... we do have, we're not going to be taking any breaks. We're going straight into the third game very, very soon. So keen to see if Ranger can tighten things up and get that second map win against Probe, or if Probe just, goes monster mode here. There's a distinct possibility that Ranger wins 1 map and then Probe just decides to switch on and decimate him 3 maps in a row.
Indeed. Well, that countdown, beep, 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 beep. Sometimes it means there's a truck reversing and you better look around and step out of the way. In this case, it means that there is an angry Probe truck starting to rev the engine. I know that Probe, it doesn't matter how much you've been off from practice, you've been studying, you've been working, you're doing other things. Probe is a high-level player. He's going to have a bit of ego involved. And when you've got 100% crushing win rate versus someone, historically, you're going to want to continue that. You don't want to see that just drop off at all. So he is going to be bringing out his A game. The Protoss player, a very nice strike back after getting taken out in game 1. In the top right in the red, it is Probe.
Good vibe, a lovely intro there, song there for Probe. Let's see what Ranger has though. In the bottom left, representing Malaysia, this is Ranger. Ranger wins. I like my synthwave a bit more low end, a little bit darker.
Ding, ding, ding.
Yeah.
I like it, man.
I just imagine a guy with like a flock of seagulls mullet and like a keytar, giant, like like white blazer jacket with giant shoulder pads, dancing on stage with this kind of music. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, a little bit too much eye makeup as well.
Yeah, a bit of guy liner.
Yep, love a bit of guy liner personally. 2 gates for Probe. Low ground expand for Ranger. So Ranger is continuing to do tricky builds. There is not an ounce of safe and standard for Ranger in this matchup, and you can kind of see that he has this risk-taking playstyle that he's bringing, because no doubt he feels he can't just play stock standard up against Probe, so he's going to go for the greedier build here on 2k atmospheres, see what he can make of it.
Yeah. Gonna go for the 1 gate expand. Normally something that Probe would prefer to do, but so I mean, Probe probably going to respond in kind. Yep, there it is.
Yep, just a pylon block to delay it. Now, will he think to do an all-in? Because if you want to macro up as Probe, you really need to deny Ranger's scouting if you can. We do want to see Ranger go an Adept. I think that would be the best move for him. He's already got the Zealot clearing the pylon. We'll see what he opts for in a moment. Stalkers for Probe and a Stalker for Ranger. So Ranger is not going to have scouting other than his Probe. His Probe needs to check and see what Probe is going in the follow-up. So the Worker Scout, very vital here for the blue player. He's looking at the expansion right now, but he's got to keep that Worker alive on this side of the map so we can double check.
All right. Ranger actually getting a block on the natural there again. He does get the shutdown. Both players have cleared up their naturals for the most part, and the natural nexuses are about to drop. Stargate again for both players here. Very similar to game 1. Game 2, rather. Excuse me.
Yeah, and Ranger sees Probes to go on 2 Stalkers. He's going to hide his Probe in the top left. And like I said, if you want a macro, which Probe does, he's going to go Nexus. He wants to find that Probe. But I like the way Ranger has hit it all the way in the top left. And he's going to come in maybe 20, 30 seconds from now and check for that expand. So really awesome play by Ranger. I love it. Oh, Stalker's not going to catch it. It's going to get in. That's going to see the Nexus, and that's going to make Ranger much more comfortable to start building probes. Because right now, Ranger's not probing. He thinks he might be getting all in.
Yeah. Oh, Stalkers are coming back. Yeah, that probe's going to at least see the Nexus before it dies.
Oh, just barely sees it.
Yeah,
very nice. And Ranger, he just started another shield battery. Now seeing that Nexus, he's going to be wanting to macro on up. Probe production does start. Okay, Probe's already 2 workers ahead, and he's not too far behind on the Nexus either. Both players going Oracle. Probe starts the Twilight. Feels like this is a pretty even situation.
How do you feel about this little bit of pressure with the Zealot?
Very tricky, but you're going to have to use Recall if you want to deal with this Oracle. Or the Oracle will be used for the defense, actually. Interesting choice from Probe. Don't know if it was his best choice. Warpgate was about to kick in there. I think he could have just pulled to the high ground and used a few probes to help out.
All right, the Oracle of Ranger now coming in to see what it can get done offensively as probes, or like as you mentioned.
Wait, is there no battery? Oh, there's no battery in Probe's mineral line. Uh-oh. Oh, my lord. That Oracle's going to do damage, man. Uh-oh. Ranger is getting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 probes. Make it 6 or 7 easy here. Woo. Oh, my lord. That is huge. Oh, he's lost the acceleration. A bit of miss micro there. There we go. 8 probes. That is massive.
Talk about fighting fire with fire. I mean, it's not 21 probes, but it's still incredibly critical damage for Ranger to hit there, and basically for free. No shield barrier in the mineral line. A very, very cut off a probe.
Ranger, cheeky F2 there, buddy.
Yeah, whoopsie daisies.
Probe is shaking his head still a minute after those probes went down. That tells you you've activated this tilt card, so definitely Ranger's going to want to dig that one in there and find some more damage and see if he can take him from tilted to... Well, he's... Is that bit to try and get the Stalker? It's so the Stalkers blink... Yeah, the Stalkers blink on the Oracle, and then they get frozen, and then he can kill the probes, maybe. Oh my god, only Ranger would think to do this. Look at this.
Yeah, all right. I'm ready. Let's go.
Oh my god, this is so silly.
Nice.
Oh my god. Oh my god, he actually gets 2 probes for that. That was so fancy and tricky. Probe is like, you tricky bastard. This is what I said earlier. You know, Piglet was like, dude, he plays so weird. Ranger just does all these little tricks. Everything is about annoying his opponent and attacking and annoying them and attacking and annoying them. And it puts you in all these unfamiliar situations repeatedly. And Probe, I guarantee you, he's never seen someone do that to him before.
Yeah, that's... you see, the Probe went from like shaking his head to having this sort of like half smile. The serial killer grin, I like to call it.
Yeah, I can't believe you pulled off something that tricky. That's so fancy. That's a...
Oh, fudge. I can't believe you've done this.
I can't believe you've done this.
I can't believe you've done this. That's what that face is.
Lots of Stalkers coming out for Probe. He's got Blink already finished. Ranger is a little behind on the army. If he can get a battery up on the 3rd, he should be good, but he's going Robo, Gas, Probing. He's not constantly warping in right now. Yeah, he didn't see the pylon, though, of Probe, so he should be able to realize he's got to get that battery down on that third and defend this base. Ranger's thinking about giving up the base. He's got to defend this.
He's coming down with his army, but it's a little... Oh, okay, Guardian Shield coming in now. And obviously activated for Probe. Definitely an advantage for him in this fight. No shield battery to fight next
battery.
to. Yeah, no battery at all.
Oh, and the Oracle's Revelate, which means they don't have any energy for fighting at all here. He's got a stasis trap to fall back on. He's trying to bait Probe into that stasis trap, but man, I think he's wishing he had a stasis trap on his third right now. Probe punishing Ranger for using that fancy trick earlier, and now he turns on the laser beams, but he's out of energy. Oracle's down, and with the Blink retreating, I think Probe's gonna have a way better fight.
Yeah, he's still got the numbers. Like, Ranger has Blink, but oh, don't. I always get worried because Ranger's like a very aggressive blinker as well.
Yeah. Oh, Probe wants that Nexus, man. He wants that Nexus.
It's so low. One big volley from these Stalkers and it's dead.
Yeah, Ranger's got to get out in front of that. Oh my lord! 18 hit points. Probe is going to get super tilted if he doesn't get that. But right now, he's flirting with very dangerous situation. Blinking back his Stalkers one at a time here, making sure they didn't die at first. But now they are starting to fall. They're so wounded. Oh, this is going to get bad for Probe. Probe needs to get out of there yesterday. Probe's going to dive 4 Stalkers for... Oh, you're kidding me! Oh my god, I told you his tilt card got activated. Dude, that was a double down tilt special. Ranger there with the 18 hit point Nexus bait. And Probe now is in a dark place.
Oh man, the 18 hit point bait Nexus flashing and fluttering its eyelashes at Probe. Oh no. Oh, now Probe's back to the drawing board. He is up in workers, does have that third Nexus, of course, but you know, Ranger's gotten that freedom to stay as even as possible in this game when that Nexus would have been such a big win for Probe. It's an easy follow-up for him from there.
Hot tip for anyone in Twitch chat, did you know if you chrono boost a Nexus, it will regenerate its shields faster as well. So something you can do to make your building regenerate hit points a little quicker. Stasis trap there. Oh, didn't manage to do the blink in time. Probe, of course. Game's played on the Singapore server, so should be a slight ping advantage there for Ranger.
Adept's trying to shade into the natural here for some Probe damage while Ranger holds at the front.
Ooh, Adept's coming on in.
They're A moving, so they won't get any probes. Unless, yeah.
Probe has got that good economic lead though, but no upgrades. +1 is coming in for Ranger as well as charge. And oh, nice chase.
Yeah, well done. Shield batteries now for Probe though. Ranger doesn't want to overextend here. It's a lot of Stalkers.
Oh,
and then Immortal.
Oh, two Immortals.
Oh, okay. Now Ranger,
sets
I think,
off a
might
barrier.
be able to do this. Does he have a Guardian Shield? No, I think
But look
he's
at that Smiker from Probe. Sets off both barriers before the fight starts.
Oh,
very nice. And he's got battery overcharge. This would be a terrible fight for Ranger. I think Ranger needs to go home right now.
Ranger disagrees.
I mean, he kind of has to stay and fight because the Sentries and the Immortals can't blink. He's in an awkward position where if he runs away, he feels like he's going to lose those units. But without a Warp Prism or something to reinforce off, Ranger, I think, needs to transition. I mean, he's probing, he's adding upgrades, he's doing lots of things, but he's in danger of getting outnumbered. This is not a good spot for him to fight against Probe.
Hardened Shields should be regenerating on those Immortals shortly here. So the Zealots are starting to come in for Probe. I don't think he has charge, but even slow Zealots can be great for face tanking. Oh, it looks like they do.
Yeah. This is really bad for Ranger now.
Yeah.
The Stalkers go down, take after the Immortals, and Ranger has overstayed his welcome without a point to reinforce off. Overly aggressive. I think he could have pulled back in transition. Now, Probe is actually being overly cautious here, pulls back himself, just wants to be really careful. He says, I got the value units, just wait, make sure I have the advantage in every fight. Now, Ranger has a 4th on the way. He's rebuilding his Immortals. Forge only now starting for Probe. So remember, the upgrade advantage is kicking in right now. Ranger on +1, Probe on nothing. If Ranger can start +2, add some extra units in, he'll be in a really good spot. I do think, though, at this stage, Immortals are a money dump. And my reasoning for that is unless you have Archons to deal with their Zealots, they're just charging in, and it's a literal 400 resource unit. It costs so much for an Immortal. If it's not landing hits on Stalkers, it's a dead weight.
You're absolutely right. I like the Robobay here from Probe. It's going to take a while for it to kick in and for it to matter, but when it does, Disruptor's an amazing unit in PvP, especially when you've already got a lot of Stalkers to complement it.
Stalker's coming down the left. He wants that Nexus. That ain't happening. Just
no.
being reminded of the mistakes of his youth, Probe here, you know?
His youth 6 minutes ago. We were all different 6 minutes ago. It was a different time, a different age.
Yeah, we thought this game might be ending a bit quicker, but it's going to be going a bit longer. Disruptors for Probe. His fourth base is wide open. He's going to have to cancel that bad boy.
Cancel he does. Not the pylon, though. You will never take his pylon away from him.
You will never take Pylo from me.
He just retakes it. Ranger will never know that the Nexus has been retaken.
Little Observer does, of course, see everything, but Four Stalker's going to see if they can get a little cancel there, maybe.
Probe just sends enough units to deal with it while having the bulk of his forces out by that watchtower. Ranger, though, knows about it. Look at that army from Ranger. Oh, my goodness.
He doesn't believe in disruptors. He's playing Zealot, Stalker, a couple of models. He's adding DTs as well. As I said, he drops a Robo Bay. Thanks, Ranger. Thanks. Cast a Curse.
I cast a Curse like 3 times yesterday, and I wasn't even casting for all of the 6 best of 3s. So
that's how it goes. Great power comes with, of course, bad speaking words to explain what's happening in the game. But right now, Ranger's stabilized. He's up 20 supply. He's got a small worker lead. He's adding all the tech. He's maintaining an upgrade lead. It feels like Ranger is a little ahead in most regards. Probe cannoning up his third. His fourth is now finally going to be finishing. And these Stalkers are going to have to micro back on the left side. Probe a little slow to react there because he's fighting over here and catching the Immortals.
And getting the Immortals is a big W if you can get that. Losing all those Stalkers does start. Oh, in come the Disruptors. It's
the first fight is the first time you show the Disruptors is the most dangerous because when they don't know that they're there, they might blink forward. And then, bam, there's Disruptors all over him. Now, that's an interesting recall. I don't know what... That was an accident. I think he meant to recall to this base. Probe with a bit of disorganization right now.
Oh, looks like he's lost a War Prism as well, weirdly enough. Oh, my. Oh, a lot of Rangers units just exploded there as we cut over to this. And a bit of mispathing there. Oh, no. Unit movement AI through the map there.
Oh, this is getting real messy, but Ranger is taking worse trades so far. I don't know if battery overcharge has gone down yet, but this base is getting overrun a little. Zealots warp in. They will save the day for Probe. And it is Probe with a much bigger army supply. He's got the earlier disruptor count.
Big blink forward.
Uh-oh.
Ooh.
Okay. In the top left, Probe defends. Probe's still down on workers, though. Ranger is a little ahead on those workers, but the units lost tab will tell us a story, and that is of Probe being the more efficient player. So as you can see there, Ranger has thrown away about 1,000 more minerals, 600 more gas, and that's why the supply is still dead even. But Ranger, he's going to +3. Probe's still only on +1, so the thing is like, oh, balls!
Oh my god, and the ball got forward. What an incredible disruptor there for Probe.
Oh my god. That is devastating. Ranger takes out 3 disruptors, but he loses his whole army there. Probe's so patient. Ranger, he's got DTs in there, though. Wow, the DT Zealot definitely causing some issues. Oh, Disruptor gets one of the DTs, and the other cannon will be able to finish up, so Probe will have some detection there. And this is very, very good defense by Probe. Ranger is trying to pile on the aggression and get him to make mistakes, but right now, Ranger needs to pivot. He's still got better upgrades in economy. If he takes a 5th base, a 6th base, just chills for a little bit and focuses on getting his own disruptor fights going. If he can really threaten Probe with an actual disruptor army, that's when he's going to be able to swing in with the Zealot DT. So I'd like to see Ranger shift his Stalker Disruptor to the left side of the map, push down there just to create a different thing where Probe needs to readjust, and then hit the right side with the Zealot DT. Bit awkward because Probe has like 3 cannons and 2 batteries on that right side expansion, but DTs are pretty awesome. You go in there with like 10 DTs, they'll take care of that really quickly.
I certainly will. And this one's coming into a natural. That Probe is just now coming into intercept. Is it going to get any probes? Nope, never mind.
Oh, Probe has not got a cannon in there. That's definitely showing how budget his situation has been in this game. Normally you want to have a cannon and a battery in pretty much every base, or single DTs are just a nightmare to deal with, but Probe's trying to do it the budget way, trying to keep his army large and strong. Lots of gas in the bank for Probe, so I think he'd love to have a Templar Archives and make a bunch of Archons to reinforce. Disruptors are here for Ranger. It's going to give him that explosive ability. Now, how well can he control the vision? Because Disruptor Wars are all about who has the vision advantage, who's sniping more observers, whose observers are spotting their army and letting you shoot first.
Shot first here for Probe. Killed his own
2 of his
zealots
own
there.
zealots. Yep. And Ranger fires
Probe
first.
overextended, yep. And lose that disruptor there, and inches forward, loses another disruptor. Also a Probe transfer to the top left for some reason. They go down. Bit of an awkward fight for Probe. He's losing a lot of his disruptors here. His splash damage is disappearing big.
Yeah, Ranger needs to do a big Zealot DT warp in on the right side and get a big attack going there because he's getting good trades as long as he doesn't try to force it.
Oh my
Probe!
god!
Oh my god, Probe just YOLO'd
His
that!
face.
Oh my god! Was that a misclick on the blink or what? Probe just made a crazy decision to blink forwards there. He cannot believe what he just did.
I've played PvPs like that before, Pig. You know, it's very annoying when the caster says, I've had games like that before, but it's just I sometimes play with my second brain. All guys have two brains. Don't need to go into it too much. You guys can probably put 2 and 2 together, find that it equals 4. And that's sometimes you're just like, just go! Go!
Yeah.
You know, and I felt like it might have been one of those moments. Because what else? How do you misclick that blink, I guess, is my follow-up question.
Yeah, unless, I mean, it can happen. It does happen occasionally. Maybe you've got the same button for blink as you do for the disruptor shot, depending on what hotkey setup you use.
I suppose, yeah.
That's pretty unlikely. Probe is a core user like myself, so he should have a pretty similar setup to me, where normally you've got those abilities on completely different fingers, but who knows, maybe he somehow just fumbled it. It can happen, and sometimes there's the accidental patience. You know, patience blink is when you do it on purpose and you fully mean to just blink into 8 Immortals with your 10 Stalkers. But the accidental patience is when you do not know how you got there. You simply wake up, you kind of feel a bit of a headache, a bit bleary-eyed, and yes, you're naked. There's a bathtub full of ice and there's a tiger just outside the bathtub sleeping. You don't know how you got there.
And on that note, we're going to take a short break. We return, guys. Pro versus Ranger Game 4. Don't go away. We'll see you then. G'day StarCraft fans and welcome back to the DreamHack Masters main event here for Valencia / summer season for the Oceania rest of Asia region for 2022. I am Maynard with me as Pig, and we're in the midst of a series here getting deep between Ranger and Probe, with Ranger on match point.
Ranger has just won the most important game of the series, in my opinion, showing that he can go the full gamut, start to finish. There was some aggression. He did a fancy Oracle bait. He then lost his third. Oh, wait, no, he didn't. 18 hit points left on that third Nexus, a vital and crucial save. And you could tell that Probe got a bit indecisive. Tried to snipe it down with 4 Stalkers, lost them all. Probe was still in a good spot from there and actually took a lot of really good fights. But even though Ranger kind of messed up a few attacks when he was trying to swarm Probe, added disruptors, added an expansion, kept probing, kept upgrading, kept that lead. And in the end, he was actually bullying Probe in the disruptor wars. Probe got a little frustrated, and we saw what I still am theory crafting was a misclick. If Probe wins and we get to interview him, we'll of course be asking him about that blink, what happened. People in the chat have been saying, oh, blink is the same hotkey actually as disruptor for me. Some people are saying, but we're all trying to figure out what happened. It could have been a bad in the moment decision, like Maynard, you were saying, you know, sometimes you just go, oh, I'm under pressure. I got to win this fight. Let's just push him out of here. You blink forward, and obviously you immediately regret it. We'll find out after the series, of course. For now, Ranger is only 1 game away from getting to the the upper finals, the big boy match.
Yes, very, very close now. Ranger can taste it, taste that win, taste the big upset. Not just his first map wins, plural, against Probe ever, but potentially a first series, a best of 5 no less, against a guy that's been giving him a little bit of a disaster the last few times they faced each other. Oh, I'm excited. I feel the energy, Pig. I feel it. But this gentleman in the top right here, representing Malaysia in the blue, it is Ranger.
And his opponent down here in the bottom left side, he is the most consistent champion of the region in the last 6 years, 7 years. I mean, it's been a while since he's been at the top. He's won a lot of money. He's the big dog. Can he bring it back? It's Probe.
I know that it's not allowed to be said in certain Twitch chats, not naming any names because of auto moderation, but disrobe for Probe. Just don't type it. Just disrobe.
Disrobe for Probe. That's it,
Just don't type it. Don't type that you're doing it. Just do it. You know,
sometimes when I'm watching him, actually,
you can go to the gym without taking a picture of it as well.
It's true, mate.
Both these things are allowed.
It's true. Sometimes I put on 3 different bathrobes when I'm watching Probe, just so as I get excited and cheer for him, I can unpeel layer after layer. It's a fun way of doing it. Ranger accidentally attacks his own Probe in his base, which is a little bit of a misclick there. Getting excited here. 1 game away from beating Probe, and a historical victory that would be. Just got to stay out of your own way. Keep playing the good StarCraft that you've been playing so far, Ranger.
That's it. You just got to basically just keep calm, keep collected, stick with the plan, don't overthink things. You can be your own worst enemy when you're this close.
Indeed. Well, here we go. We've got Cybercore finishing up for both sides. Decisions start to show themselves here, and it's double Stalker versus double Stalker. Neither player's hidden a pylon this time, so all right, we might get to see the most kind of standard straight to blink game. Neither side is really chrono boosting anything other than the double chrono on the probes at the start. So yeah, it's looking a bit more standard. Third pylon does go up inside the main base for Probe. So Probe is playing a bit safer, more likely to play like Stargate before Nexus. Whereas I think Ranger just drops that Nexus as soon as that pylon's cleared.
Yeah, we'll have to clear that obviously. Wait for his gateway units to get rid of it along with the Probe's assistance. And it is Stargate for Probe, called Piggly.
Yeah.
Ranger's pylon getting cleaned up too.
When you play Stargate, you can't really defend the low ground very easily because you go on Oracle, some Adepts, right? So not putting the pylon down means if Ranger is highly aggressive, he can just pull back to the high ground, doesn't lose a pylon. So it just makes it a bit more efficient versus those 1 base all-ins. But as we know, Ranger going for the Nexus, the Sentry for the scouting as well coming out, and Ranger happy to just go to the blink stage of the game. I think this is a perfect situation to do like a 5-gate blink attack to kill Probe's third base. Kind of like the attack he was doing on you in the last game. I think the exact same attack thrown back in Probe's direction would be awesome.
Well, I counsel and wait here for Ranger, so and go in that direction. It's nice to see a mix-up instead of, you know, I mean, not saying that it's boring or anything like that, but just, you know, Stargate versus Stargate, Stargate versus Stargate, map after map. Cool to see some different tech paths clashing. See which one comes on top in the end.
And this is already the first oracle popping out, right? Yeah, it was the first oracle. Like, no, you couldn't have 2 oracles yet, could you? Oh, could cancel. Just probing around, scouting around with the adepts, seeing what's up. Now, Ranger's moving out with, I think, Stalkers of his own, and the second oracle is on the way for probe.
Yeah, and 2 oracles is Danger Town, the danger zone, as Kenny Loggins sang about in the 80s.
Danger zone.
Exactly.
Oh, sentry in the open.
Oh, yeah, you can kill that.
Yeah, easy pick.
That's 100 gas down the toilet.
And the Stalker in the main pushes it back. But overall, yeah, you don't really take any damage. That's really good for probe. You can join up with the second oracle. Other probe does see you doing that. You definitely want to kill that. I think he just saw it and A moved his Stalkers out to kill it. So he will get the probe kill. And the Phoenix coming in to scout probe's base. Blink advantage goes to Ranger. But yeah, probe's already chasing that probe down, that worker. And Blink starts up for him. So about a 40-second advantage on Blink. Ooh, probe's going to go for the Oracle dive on the natural soon. If he pairs that up with the Adepts, that's a lot of damage coming out all at once. Ranger will need to quickly focus the Oracles. Oh. Oh, here we go. 1, 2, 3 probes already going down. Make it 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh my lord. Good damage.
Flyby, drive-by. Whatever.
Yeah, it's a
9
flyby
probes.
for sure. He's going crop dust in those probes, man.
It's crop dusted indeed. Yeah.
Nicely done.
He also sees the Twilight Council coming along there as well with the revelation. Lovely bit of information.
Oh,
for
and he's
as
checking
well
for
as 9
proxies.
damage.
Look at the Oracle path. He's checking and make sure, because guess what? He doesn't want to build a robo. So he's like, just make sure there's no DT shrine out here, right? Make sure there's no proxy DT shrine, proxy pylon. As long as there's none of that, I should be all right. Got oracles, decent detection. Third base goes down for Ranger nice and quick. He'd like to recover that economy, but Probe's already going up to 4 gateways. So Probe has a really just a natural Stalker timing. If he puts Oracle stasis traps in front of that third, that would be a great way to set up for a future attack. That would be a really cool thing to do, because right now Ranger doesn't have vision at that third base, and Probe does just go for his own third. I'm excited. I like this series, Maynard. I want to see a game 5.
Yeah, I mean, that'd be fantastic. And it's honestly hard to call who wins game 5 too, as both players have been taking turns being a little bit shaky, but also looking really dangerous in spikes of action as well.
Yeah. Oh man, okay. Here comes the Stalker poke for Probe. Little supply block behind it, but he is probing. Got the Nexus on the third, as well as Pylons on the way. Ranger's going Forge, but he's still worried about those 2 Oracles, which means he's got to leave Stalkers in the main. I think Ranger's just a bit too low on army supply. That shield battery could go down.
Is that third going to go down? Like, Probe's got quite a few units here. The Oracle's in the main. Ranger's still very defensive with his units. Gets one of the Oracles, but, okay. It looks like the third may have enough hit points to survive here as Ranger comes down, but that's a lot of units for Probe still.
Yeah, I think Probe's already taken a bit of damage, though, so he will be cautious. He'll back off for now. He doesn't have a warp in point. Remember I said I really think this would be a good game for someone to get aggressive with the gateway. I said Ranger especially, but with the Oracles pinning him back, he didn't feel like he could do it. Oracle comes in again. Oh, nice catch.
Nice.
But this was not
motive as always.
Not all in by Probe, right? That was just like this is kind of like a poking attack, and it was overall fine because I mean he's killed quite a lot of workers this game, right? At least probably 13 or 14 workers, whereas Ranger's only killed 1.
Yeah, quite a bit of damage there. I mean, the numbers are quite close, but you got to think about the amount of resources that are going to put into basically undoing the damage that's happened. It's not just about the numbers; it's about like how many resources have been spent on what. It does mean that you're going to suffer in the long run. It does compound is a word that you like to use, and I'm stealing it from you.
Heck yeah, mate. Stalkers get a Zealot and a Sentry, and doesn't lose anything. Not bad. Probe's getting the pickoffs now. Templar Archives comes in, so Ranger's going to be able to add the Archons to deal with the Zealots. That's going to be really nice. We didn't see too many Archons in that last game. Archons mess Zealots up, but they are also so easy to hit with Disruptors. They kind of clump up a bit, and obviously are mostly shields. Massive bonus to shield damage coming out from Disruptors.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Disruptors just did like a base number.
They have bonus to shields because when they first came out, they didn't one-hit Protoss units, so they felt useless in this matchup. So they were like, no, this unit needs to one-hit everything that's like not a big ass, like giant
like
thing.
Not an Immortal, not a Colossus kind of thing,
Yeah. Same way Widow Mines have bonus to shield damage as well. So that's why a single Widow Mine splash like knocks all the shields off pretty much any basic Protoss unit. So yeah, Widow Mine's much more effective versus Protoss than other races actually.
Speaking of effective Protoss, I tell you what, this army of Pro is it's low tech, but it's very swarmy. There's a lot of it. An Archon in a way. Only one Archon though. I think the charge loss could still be pretty effective here.
Oh, Stalkers are getting on out of there. Only one Stalker going down, so it's not too bad. Probe supply.
He wants Rage to move out of position. He wants to surround.
No, but his Stalkers are a bit far behind. But he gets a good angle with the Zealots, though. His Stalkers are pretty far behind. There's an Archon there. Is there a battery overcharge? Battery overcharge?
Yeah, what's his energy looking like? Oh, Bleaks on top of the battery. He can take it down. No overcharge for you, Ranger. And is that the Dark Shrine in the mineral line?
Yes, it is. This is a big commitment by Probe. 54 workers he stopped at. Ranger was trying to take a fourth base, but he didn't have any scouting. He didn't realize that Probe was just going for a giant Zealot Stalker timing. Now, it's still only just tied up the workers. Probe's only now started his fourth, whereas it's finishing for Ranger. If Ranger can survive this and fight back, he might be okay, but I feel like it's a hard spot. There's an army on top of your third base. That's going to go down, man.
Well, some Dark Templar are going to get warped in. Probe's coming in with his Prism. It's quite close to the action.
And it should be going down soon, but no, the Stalkers don't want to go forward and focus fire it. The Zealots are too scary, mate, and that's 11 Probes going down. A lot of Probes' army is fighting buildings right now, so a little bit disjointed on the attack, but because the workers are falling as well, I think it is all right.
Yeah, I think so too. This is looking really good for Probe. He's going to lose his Archon on the front line, but I think he's broken the back of Ranger here at the third base. He's muscled him away from this Nexus.
Oh, nice angling from Probe, the way he pulls back into a nice concave, just blinking back weak Stalkers and creating a concave at the same time. And Ranger just a bit too low on the scouting. Remember, he kept losing sentries earlier in this game. He didn't have enough hallucinations, so he couldn't keep track of it. Probe denying his map vision, surprising him with his attack. And I mean, Ranger's hanging on like a champ. He's keeping the supply surprisingly close. Does it matter though? I don't know. The Forge has actually been skipped by Probe as well. I didn't even realize he did it this game again. So Ranger's actually been playing a bit more standard on the macro. Probe's a bit more committed to the timing attacks. It's interesting. This is the reversal of what I would have expected going into the series.
Yeah. Pretty solid damage here. Obviously, Ranger is not dead yet, but it's not looking good. That's for damn sure. A couple of Stalkers getting misbarred there. The AI can be a little bit annoying.
Oh, Ranger has stepped up his game so much, Maynard. Most players would have been dead the moment that attack swung in, but Ranger's still got his upgrades going. He's reprobing on his fourth. He's probably going to rebuild that third base soon. I don't think he comes back from this. 20 supply advantage when you're, in this small scale of battle is such a huge percentage of what you both have. But DT Backstab, definitely one way to get back in it.
Yeah, the DT, the Disruptor, the two greatest comeback units that Protoss has in their arsenal.
Yeah, that can make a massive comeback if they find that undefended mineral line, which it's going towards. Stalkers run in here for Probe. I don't think you want to go too deep. You can get caught. Probe is going a little deep. Oh, we wanted to kill the cannon to get rid of the detection. His own DT is going in. Observers there for Ranger. DT did hit Probe's base in the meantime. Probe did pull workers away, so both players disrupting each other. And Probe building an observer, warping in some units to deal with that. He's going to try and kill the DT Shrine.
DT Shrine? That's like calling it the ATM machine.
Yeah, it is the ATM machine, man. Come on.
Archon goes down. Bit of a messy fight there for Probe. Tons of charge lots for Ranger. Without an Archon, they have to be respected.
Yeah, Archons are the counter to the Zealots.
Archons, my god.
Yeah.
The Zealots. I still have a mate that, like, 12 years after StarCraft 2's got released, he still calls them Zealots. Like, it's a zealot. And he's like, what are you talking about, man? Stop being some weird fuck. He's like, don't be like an English major, all right? We're just playing games here.
Man, come on, look. Do you want some jalapenos on your pizza or not, mate?
I want jalapenos on my sub, please. It's a croissant, okay?
Did you know that chipotle is just made from smoked jalapenos?
It is, yeah. With a little bit of mayo. Bit of sauce in there. Oh, I hate myself right now.
I'm sorry, Twitch. I'm sorry.
Now, this wall of charge lots is very, very convincing.
It's a sick attack. There's no battery here. DT has to be warped in for Probe to help on the defense. And since there is no observer, Ranger cannot defend that. This was his last ditch effort. He's up in supply, but I do think Probe with the DTs helping out is winning this fight. Remember that Ranger's only on 3 bases. Probe is on 4. Ranger is still somehow ahead in supply. And remember, he's got +2 versus +0. That's the biggest deal here. Oh, bad blink for Probe.
Yeah.
Dude, if he can get an observer forward and kill these DTs, Ranger might be able to win this game.
He might indeed.
Oh, the prism goes down.
Nice pick off there.
7 more probes died though during that, so I think there was another DT that kind of ran in or something, right? The third and the fourth both not
Probe
looking
side.
too healthy for Probe. Yeah, and
Yeah,
Ranger,
actually,
he's rebuilding his Nexus.
9 o'clock looks like it might have hit the DT there. Not much saturation, and the cannon only just finished.
Dude, this is a sick comeback for Ranger. If he wins this game and wins 3-1, it would be wild, and Probe would be very frustrated because, dude, he surprised him with the big Zealot Stalker timing. He's done a lot of damage. He is doing counterattack on the right side, but I think there's some static there. And the upgrade disadvantage is terrible. I mean, Probe needs another 15 seconds to at least get his +1. Right now, he's 2 upgrades behind.
Yeah, very, very rough. +1's about to finish, so he's going to at least only GP1 behind, but he is still pushing uphill with that army supply, with his economy.
Okay, what's the counterattack going to find? He's got a counterattack going in right now as well. This is more of a distraction, I feel, for Probe, hoping that his counterattack does the big damage. You see, withdraws there. And the Zealot DT does kill the cannon and a lot of damage.
Yeah, Probe getting a lot of damage over at 3 o'clock. 9 o'clock is still the battleground, though, where Ranger's got most of his units. Nothing has to go wrong here for Ranger. He needs to get this big fight.
Oh, Probe sniped the Observer, but there's a second one in the back. There's a second one in the back that he doesn't know about. Oh, Ranger coming so well prepared. Does he have the numbers, though? He's still got the upgrade advantage, but his supply has plummeted, but that is all Probe supply. He's way up in army. The DTs have slaughtered his economy. He's got to do it, and he dives in and gets a few Stalkers. Probe hanging on for dear life right now. Ranger trying to fight, but oh no, his army gets disjointed.
Yeah, disjointed, a little bit of a haphazard battle there for Ranger. He had to win the game right there. Finally, the Dark Shrine going to be dealt with. Is it though? It's DT on DT action. It's so hot. DT's cutting DTs.
Oh my lord. You know, the fight that players didn't realize they needed to see, but Zergs and Terrans rejoicing, saying, normally I hate watching DTs, but you know what? When they're fighting and killing each other, I'm all right with it. Make them fight each other to the death.
Indeed. Oh man.
I think Probe survived, dude. Survived the scariest part of the game. Ranger almost making a miraculous comebacks through some very good execution, good micro. Probe with some observer snipes, some DT usage. But yeah, this is that situation where you've got more economy, more stuff. Your upgrades are just behind, though, with the style you play as Probe. So he's going to keep up that Nexus advantage. He's now posturing aggressively. But good little squad of army there for Ranger. He's making budget Archons, which I guess it's not even budget Archons. It's kind of like getting a payday loan, the DT Archon. It costs so much more than the High Templar Archon. You just need it right then to kind of pay your rent to survive, and it just costs you so much more in the long run versus just making extra Zealots and High Templar Archons way more efficient.
I'm with you on that one. Big supply lead here for Probe. Hard to lose from this point. I mean, the upgrades are going well for him. Trying to look at what's going well for Ranger here. Upgrades pretty much it, and also the Templar tech looking quite nice. Or the Dark Templar tech, I guess. He's got a couple Archons.
Zealot Archon is going to chase down that Zealot. Thinks about sending one Stalker after it. Does decide to. Wouldn't it be funny if the Zealot wins that fight? Ranger's like, okay, fine. You can leave, bro.
Yeah, indeed.
So
huge lead here for the Oceania player. I wonder what the follow-up here is for Ranger. Like, what do you do when you are in this kind of situation in this mirror matchup?
I mean, I would take Gas and Go Disruptor and just pray, like, triple Robo Disruptor, maybe? You know, just don't build a single other unit and maybe do like a little Zealot backstab to distract him and buy time. I think Ranger, though, he's trying to just kind of do the standard solid things, like keep adding Zealots, Archons, add a few probes, squeeze in this, squeeze in that, do a bit of this, a bit of that, a bit of the other. It does feel like, though, as Probe has his 5th base up on the left now, even though it's only a 3/4 base, that's very useful mining, and he's got the +2. So I think naturally Probe will max out, and he's going to max out even before +2 finishes, but definitely might start a disruptor transition of his own.
And would certainly put the nail in the coffin, I feel, if Probe had that kind of tech. And then it comes down to bowling, everyone's favorite kind of PvP battle.
I mean, when your opponent can't afford to replace the pins, bowling's a winning strategy, man.
That's right.
Range is pretty good at micro, so it definitely wouldn't be playing with the gutters up. Be pretty hard to hit them, but even just 1 or 2 good hits can change the game.
These charge lots shouldn't get too much done here. There's charge lots and also Archons remaining for Ranger, so he's just now target firing a couple probes, only gets 2 of them there. So not a great investment for Probe, but he's got money to burn, unlike Ranger.
He does. Ranger is going disruptors and +3 though. And you know, he's on 136 supply. It's not that bad a supply count. Misplaces his Nexus. Oof, has to cancel it to rebuild it. 100 minerals down the drain. Not the end of the world. It is 1 Zealot. But I like that he's progressing. Probe is not. Probe is frozen up a little bit in his progression in this game, and that can really help Ranger get back in here.
He has kind of hit a wall, right? Like he hasn't got the kill move on Ranger. Like it seems like Ranger's put his armor suit on, and there's no gaps in between the armor plates for Probe to just get that blade in there and finish him off.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't mind just a big old push. He's warped in some DTs. I don't think he has blink. Does either player have blink on their DTs? I don't think so. No DT blink, no shadow stride. So yeah, maybe just a mass zealot attack on the right side. Probe's just got a huge army on the left, a big army advantage. I want to see him go use that. Double robo disruptors on the way for Ranger. Ranger's going to get a better army than Probe in the near future. He's ahead on upgrades, or he will be soon. He's got already 1 disruptor out. He's got 2 robos building a 2nd disruptor right now. Oh, Probe's coming for the surround though. For the surround, Ranger's in the open.
He's going for the sandwich. Ranger trying to turn this into a choke point again. Successfully does it. He does get into a funnel where his Archon's going to be a lot more effective against the Zealots at least. Here comes the Disruptor.
Oh, does get 2 Archons. Lots of shields off him. But the Disruptor goes down. You don't want to be losing these Disruptors. You want to be recycling them. Ranger, I think, should give this base up. I think just, you know, you've still got a decent economy. You could rebuild this. But maybe Probe's actually overcommitting. The fight was pretty good there for Ranger.
Was indeed, yeah. We created that funnel. Reinforcements coming in from the high ground. Ranger's warp in's coming in good. He's got a long line of units. Aggressive blink from Ranger. He's feeling confident. Another Disruptor coming in from the high ground as well, ready to join in. DTs from Probe trying to get into the space. Overcharged shield battery. Getting that cannon sorted there.
Wow.
The DT's deflected.
Wow, Ranger and Probe. He's still in a very basic army. Probe still might be able to swarm over the top, maybe. Does take out.
Man.
Oh,
his army's not as big as it was.
Oh, barely dodges the Disruptor there. Zealot's trying to get through. Yeah, there's a DT in the back. He doesn't have detection, so he's the one suffering against the DTs this time around. The Archon barely survives with like 4 hit points there, and Probe does not have the Disruptors. He does not have the Archons. He does not have the high attack in this game. Remember, we said that he was a little bit arrested in terms of his tech development. He had the income advantage, but he was just making Stalkers and Zealots. The Archons counter the Zealots. The Disruptors counter the everything. Ranger, oh my god, he lost his bloody 3rd base, mate. I do not know how he fought his way back into this. He has shown grit and determination. Probe is now adding Archons, but he is on the back foot. He needs to win this fight and push Ranger back.
Certainly does. His life is on the line here. Life is on the line for Ranger. Earlier, he needed to win at that 9 o'clock base, and somehow, some way, through just determination, through winning fights, through trading, through holding on against the overwhelming odds here of Probe, Ranger is starting to push back, and he's looking convincing for the first time in many minutes in this game, which has gone the distance here, nearly 22 minutes of this PvP. Nova coming forward. Archon can't do anything about that. Gonna eat that Nova. Another one coming in. Goodbye, Archons. Goodbye, Stalkers. Ranger on that high ground, and I think that might be it for Probe. I think Pig might be muted as well.
Oh my god, this is actually huge, man. This is actually disgusting. That is just beautiful play. What a comeback. The Disruptors had to rally all the way from the main. It took him like a minute to get over here, Maynard.
Oh, that Disruptor not bloody bad for Probe.
Ooh.
Gets a good connection, but still the supply hugely in favor of Ranger here. Probe against the ropes, the Malaysian Protoss pushing him over the line.
He's about to make history, dude. He never took a map off Probe in a tournament ever before until today, and he is so close to getting the 3-1 and going to the upper finals. This would be so huge for Ranger. He has blitzed through his group stage, and now here, making a comeback. I mean, he's showing he's not a one-trick pony. He's not just a gold-based gimmick boy. He's not just a crazy blink all-in or DT blink guy. He can do just about anything, and he can dance with the best of them. Ranger showing the full gamut of skills. Probe, you can see there, just hand on his heads. He realizes that he's pretty much out here.
He does indeed. I mean, not out of the tournament, but out of the series, potentially, yes, as Ranger just gets stronger and stronger and further ahead as it goes. And there's the GG, and well played from Probe. Great sportsmanship, and Ranger explodes with emotion. Well played.
Deservedly so.